Big man Ted, what's
Yeah,
happening? How you doing?
yeah, all good, mate.
I'm doing well. Now, the question to you, Ted, is obviously that fight against Scott Fitzgerald was hotly disputed. Have you had a chance to watch that fight back? Because I had a look at the result again, unanimous decision. Are you in better spirits going into fight camp against Sam Eggington?
Yeah, it's in the past now. Obviously, at the time, it matters what happened at the time. But for me now, I'm focused on what's happening Saturday. Because if you look at me and Scott, and then you look at the result, if I win Saturday, who's in a better position, me or Scott? Me. You know what I mean? So from him going on from that fight, I'm in a better position now than he is. So that's all that matters, really.
Yeah. I mean, how have you kind of dealt with adversity? Because, I mean, the time that we first met, you were flying, you were knocking guys out for fun, you were dominating guys. I remember Carsten Jones, you put him away as well at 0-2. I remember holding your WBA strap at the time and saying, well done, mate. But it's been a different point in your career right now, adversity.
Yeah, I've come over a few hurdles, but now obviously the journey carries on, and it matters where the journey finishes, not where it is in the middle or the start. It's all about how the story ends.
Mm. Do you feel any kind of like added pressure that, I mean, you're that you haven't won in 3 fights, that you need to perform this weekend and you need to get the result?
I put that pressure on myself anyway. I'm a winner. I don't like losing. Everyone sees when I lose. I don't go, oh, I got beaten. That's it, and I'm upset. So I'm upset. I mean, like, I don't care. I'm upset when I lose. I'm a winner. I hate losing. Don't know what it is. So obviously, every time I get in the ring, I put the pressure on myself, and I'm going on thinking about it for weeks before, about visualizing winning the fight.
All right. Next one.
Hi, Ted. It's Steve from Boxing UK.
Right, mate. Yeah, you're right.
Hi, Ted. Just alluding back to the fight against Fitzgerald, Ted, we saw you, it must have been 2 or 3 hours after the fight, coming out of your dressing room after we interviewed Lewis Ritson. So you were in there a long, long time. Just how disappointed were you? And does that make you even more determined to put things right this weekend?
Yeah, I was disgusted and I was upset. But like I said, it's in the past. And as you say, I had a very bad year last year and I never had no luck at all. And that's just made me determined to make everything right this year. And it's made me a much better, much mature person and a much better boxer, because it's when everything's going good and pretty and well, everything, you don't really change much. But now I've had the chance to work on loads and loads of different stuff, and I'm becoming a really different fighter. Like, I've got so much different added to my style, so I'm looking forward to expressing it Saturday night.
Yeah, the fight against Fitzgerald, Ted, you surprised a lot of people with your boxing skills then.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're going to stick with, or are you tempted to go back to the come forward style, or are you keeping that a secret?
It's about doing what's right. When I get in the ring, the only thing I do is I plan to adapt to the style what I need to box that's going to win me the fight. When people would mention it, when I boxed Conway after the Garcia fight, if I stood off him, I wouldn't have had a chance of winning the fight. If I come forward against Scott Fitzgerald, I'd have made the fight a lot harder for myself. I do what I have to do to win fights. You know what I mean? That I boxed the way I need to. The only fight I didn't was Sergio Garcia, because I went in there with no plan at all, because as whatever my coach told me, it was in one ear and out the other, because I was just torturing myself and punishing myself. But now, I know if I want, I can come forward and beat Sam. I know if I want to box on the back foot, I can beat Sam. I just believe I'm overall better, but we'll see on Saturday night.
Last one from us, Ted. It's a very different fight week to what you're normally used to.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do between now and the weekend? Are you having any of those Chicago town pizzas?
Nah, do you know what? Like I said already in a couple of interviews, this is the best camp I've had. Wise with the lockdown, everything's been just focused on boxing. And then again as well, this week is like, usually you're running around like a lunatic, collecting money for tickets and dropping last tickets off. And it's just nice to be in the hotel, relaxing and just focused and thinking about the boxing.
Lovely. Thanks, Ted. Good luck on Saturday, mate.
Thanks.
I'll jump in here if you don't mind. Ted, how are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, all good, thanks, mate. You?
Same from Boxing News TV. You described the past year as a nightmare year. Will a win over Sam Eggington be that cap on that nightmare year and leave you in a position to possibly move on from that fight then?
Yeah, 100%. It gets me back to the spot where it gets me back to the point where I was before the Sergio Garcia fight. And to be honest, it's a bigger, as much as the Sergio Garcia fight was for the European belt, this is a bigger domestic fight and better fight for me to win. You know what I mean? If I beat Sergio Garcia, I wouldn't have got the appreciation I deserved. But beating Sam Eggington, I'm going to get a lot of what I deserve for it. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to get a lot of appreciation from beating him and performing well. So I'm just looking forward to that now.
As others have said, and you've talked about already, that fight against Scott Fitzgerald was a contentious loss. Has the fact that we've been in lockdown been grating on you in a boxing sense, considering the last fight you had was that loss against Scott Fitzgerald, and you haven't had the opportunity to right that wrong because of COVID? Has it been grating on you?
Nah, to be honest, I'd been boxing that last year as well with niggles, like dodgy elbows, and so obviously I was getting through camps, but like struggling through them, and not everything was right. So it was great to sort of have the first few weeks of lockdown before having no clue of what's going on with boxing, just doing nothing. Do you know what I mean? And refreshing my body, getting my body refreshed again. And then as soon as the fights, I was told there could be possibility of fights in July and August. I got straight back into camp then, and I've been more determined than ever.
Eddie said that recently talked to Scott Fitzgerald about coming back. Obviously, he's had his troubles with himself. But are you looking for that rematch once Scott's ready?
Yeah, I'd love that rematch. But there's loads of fights. There's Scott, there's Anthony Fowler, there's James Metcalf. There's loads of fighters out there domestically. Plus, by winning this fight, the minimum ranking I'm going to get is a number 5 in the IBF. What ranking Sam's got. So you just got to look at what opportunities come. I'm a lot older, a lot maturer, a lot more experienced, and now is my time to put a big performance in Saturday and push on with my career.
Final question for you, Ted. Give me a prediction for Saturday against Sam Eggington. What happens?
I don't know when, I don't know what, but I believe I'll get him out there at some point.
Appreciate that, Ted. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Ted. Charlie Parsons here, boxing correspondent for FightHype.com. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, mate.
First thing that I wanted to jump into, obviously, this is a special experience behind closed doors. Eddie Hearn's putting on a show. He's doing the fight camp. Does that give you another motivating factor moving forward into this fight, that it's sort of part of history and you're headlining the first fight on his shows?
Yeah, cool. So another thing is like, if this fight was happening on a normal show, there'd be a big crowd, but it wouldn't be such a big event. You know what I mean? But it's a massive event. It's the first show on the fight camp. Everyone's thriving for boxing from Sky Sports and Matchroom, and I'm topping the first bill. So it's great exposure, and it's a great opportunity for me to put on a massive performance and put my name back out there. Yeah,
of course. Obviously, you spoke about it with a couple of the boys here, but 2019, not sugarcoating it, wasn't the best year for you. Does that make you slightly apprehensive towards the Eggington clash, or do you feel that you've turned a new leaf and that you can just go forward like your old self?
Yeah, I've turned a new leaf. I'm refreshed mentally and physically, and I'm in the best shape I've ever been as a pro, and I'm in mentally the best place I've been as a pro. So I just feel it's the right time for me, as you say, to turn a leaf and push on.
Another thing that you mentioned before is that you now feel that you can use both styles. You've got that come forward style and you've also got that slick style. Do you think that's going to help you with Eggington, that you'll be able to read him in the ring and you'll be able to decide what way you want to fight him when you're in the ring?
Yeah, but going back to that, I believe what people don't know, what I said earlier is I box how I need to box to win. When I boxed Jack, I can't remember his name. Well, in I think my 7th fight, boxed a fella from up north, Jack, and the first couple of rounds I was coming forward, put him down, but he was tough. And then I went on the back foot after because he kept coming. When I boxed Carson Jones, I come forward, and at points I went on the back foot, and on the points I went on the front foot. I do what I have to do to win. I've always been able to box. I've always been able to fight. I chose to box against Scott Fitzgerald because I believe that was the right style to beat him. And as you say, I'll do what I feel right in the ring on Saturday against Sam what I feel that is going to give me the best chance of winning.
Yeah, of course. And just finally, something that you said, I think it was last week, you said Sam could keep his chin out at 147, but he won't be able to do that with you at 154. Does that give you a little bit of feeling in the back of your mind that you will be able to stop him, like that you do have the power to stop him?
Yeah, it's not all about power. It's about beating someone enough. And if you watch Sam, his style, everyone says I'll take shots. When I take shots, I'm trying to take shots. I'm taking on the gloves to catch and counter or to wear someone down. Sam takes shots clean to the face because he just, that is his defence. You know what I mean? That's the difference between me and Sam. And I just believe as the rounds go on, he won't be able to keep taking the punishment.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for your time, mate, and all the best on Saturday.
Hi, Ted, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, well, good. Thanks, Dan. You're right, mate.
Yeah, good. The lack of a crowd, does that play into your favour a little bit in that you won't get swayed by your supporters? You're a big ticket seller, obviously. They cheer you on vociferously. And when things get, really into the fiery elements of the fight, you won't feel like you have to push on and be aggressive if that's not what suits the occasion.
Yeah, exactly that, Dan. I said that earlier in an interview with Sky. Obviously, this fight you're gonna be able to communicate with your coach a lot better during rounds and stuff, and use your brain a lot more. It's gonna be a lot more of a thinking fight, and you're not gonna get swayed emotionally at all by the crowd. So I think it's gonna be a lot easier to be focused and use your brain.
And the comments earlier that one of my colleagues spoke about, that Sam Eggington can't afford to leave his chin out at 154. He did a conference call earlier today where those comments were put to him, and he said Ted Cheeseman's not a big puncher in any way. Do you feel you're the puncher in this fight at 154, bigger puncher than him?
Yeah, 100%. I'm just a bigger man all round. Stronger, bigger. Sam was a big welterweight, but he bullied people at welterweight. He wasn't a one-punch concussive puncher. He was big and he sort of bullied them around and then got them out there at the end. But we're at 154. He's been being bullied. Do you know what I mean? So he can say what he wants. Look, we're both fighters. It ain't one of them fights where we're going to slag both each other off. He believes he's going to win. I believe I'm going to win. And that's what all the makings of a good fight.
And you mentioned the minimum ranking you can expect should you get past Eggington from the IBF will be number 5, which is the ranking obviously he's got at the moment. How far away do you feel you and Tony, from that fringe world level or fighting in a world title eliminator, that kind of thing?
It's all about opportunities, and if the right opportunity pops up and Tony and I believe it's right at the right time, then you have to take it. But if not, then you look at what other options you have.
Brilliant. Well, best of luck on Saturday night.
Cheers, thanks.
Hi Ted, Mark here from Pressbox PR. I was having a chat with Dalton Smith earlier. He told me that he's been in the unusual situation where he's run into Nathan, he's run into his opponent. They've had a little chat. Have you come across Sam yet? Have you been able to sort of size him up, have a chat?
We see each other at the checkmate, but we never really had a chat. With all boxers, you'd be best as friends after the fight and love each other and you're a good fight, mate, and whatever. But now it's business. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be too friendly, but I'm just hello, goodbye, and that's how it is. It's focus on the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we've obviously seen the pictures being beamed from the Matchroom social medias of the testing going on. But I wonder if you could take us a little bit closer to what else is going on inside the bubble. What's the atmosphere like? What challenges are you sort of facing in contrast to what it's normally like?
I don't know. You're just fully switched on or thinking about boxing. You know what I mean? I brought my Xbox and an Amazon Fire Stick with all like the movies and everything on for me to just be able to relax, see and watch some series and some films, play a bit of Xbox to kill a bit of time, and then obviously watch a bit of YouTube and stuff and watch fights and stuff. And it's just all about killing a bit of time. But for me, it's good because, like I said earlier, I'll just be darting around this week, doing 1,000,001 things. But it's been all organised and sorted out a lot earlier. Plus, I ain't had to run around selling tickets because there's no crowd. So everything's just been a lot more focused on purely boxing.
It's quite interesting that, because the rest in the lead up to the fight during the fight week is probably one of the crucial parts of the build up for you as a fighter. I'd say. So would you say that you feel maybe a bit more rested, maybe a bit more prepared because you don't have these other responsibilities going on?
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot easier to be organised. I've got a young family at home. It's hard sometimes. You got a baby crying in the middle of the night and stuff, and like it's just easier. It's a lot easier to be fully focused on boxing and switched off from everything else. Do you know what I mean? Normally, I don't. I'm not really into all the interviews and stuff. I'm just purely business. But I'm soaking up the whole atmosphere this time, and I think it's because how long I've come over, got over all my addictions and stuff. So I'm actually now control my addiction, where that my addiction is now boxing again. You know what I mean? Like it was when I was a young kid and stuff. It's now boxing again, and I'm doing everything properly, and I'm soaking it up. And someone said to me, it's a really good atmosphere. And I said, yes, I think it's by far the best build up to a fight. But really and truly for me, I don't normally take no notice of none of it and don't really care about none of it. Like even a lot of the massive shows I box on, I just see some posters of this show and I said, you couldn't sort me one out, do you know what I mean? But normally I don't care about none of that stuff, do you know what I mean? I just care about getting in the ring, having a fight, see it, get paid, whatever. But now the main focus is about boxing again, do you know what I mean?
Definitely. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you on tackling the addictions. You said being quite open and honest about it and dealing with it. So congratulations for dealing with that.
Cheers, thanks.
Just the last one from me. I'm reading, or Eddie, I think Eddie said earlier that he's going to be turning up the sound effects. We're going to hear these thuds of the body shots coming in. What kind of experience do you think it's going to be for the viewer?
I don't know. I think what a lot of people do is when they come to a fight, they'll tell you their thoughts on the fight. And then when they watch it on TV, they have a whole different view on it. So I think you're going to get that second view at first opinion this time. So like their better view was obviously they're getting carried away with all the sand from all the other people and stuff. So when you're at home watching it, you can focus in on the fight a bit more, sort of listen a bit to what the cornermen are telling the fighters. So then they get. I think it's great to go to boxing shows and watch boxing shows, and obviously we need boxing fans to come to shows to keep boxing and sports going. But I think you get a lot more sort of focus just purely on the fight and the real result instead of getting carried away with swaying of the standard crowd and stuff.
No, absolutely. But thanks for your time. Best of luck on Saturday, Ted.
Cheers.
I think that's it. Cheers, Ted. Thank you so much.
Cheers, no problem. Cheers, see you later.